Ba-ba-ba. All right, doing everything. And I assume we're live now. But I'm doing that whole thing where I keep talking to myself while I find it and share it on my phone. Hi, everybody. Let's see if I can find it. Even I have a hard time finding it. Garfield Center for the Arts. There's the page. Where's my beautiful face? There I am. All right. And let's share that right post. Oh yeah, there I am. Turn that down. All right. We are live. It's Wednesday night. I'm in my kitchen. And it's GCTV time. Before we get things started tonight, I'm going to do the same thing I do every Wednesday night. And I'm going to ask you that if you're enjoying what you see here or have seen here previously, and if you enjoy what you see here tonight, please consider donating to the Garfield Center for the Arts at garfieldcenter.org/donate/. As I've said before, I don't know how important that second slash is, but it's on the paper. So I'd go ahead and put it in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Nevin in, and he is going to start the video for us. Oh, you got to unmute. Oh, there you are. Hey, Nevin.
Hi.
You want to go, if you want to kick things off?
Sure do. So I'm so glad to be a performer in this series, and thanks to Nick and Steve and everyone else at the Garfield for inviting me. It's been really great to have a reason to play some music, despite the fact that I can't get together with any of my musician colleagues. So as Brad did a couple weeks ago, we decided it was best for me to pre-record this show. So this is evening Nevin handing it over to afternoon Nevin. And I hope you enjoy. I will be actively looking at the Facebook comments. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to type some answers to them for you. So hope to chat with you there. All right.
All right.
well, you probably recognized that tune. That was what I call Bach's pop song. That's the prelude to his first suite for solo cello. I don't have a cello, so I play on viola, which is a pretty common thing to do. And I like starting with that because my next tune is actually a modern version of that. But before I Hi everyone, this is Evening Nevin. It sounds like there's some trouble with the sound, so we're going to try to address that by turning down my media player volume. Okay, let's try that again. Well, from where we were. Get there. I just want to say hi, and thanks for watching this live-ish performance. So the goal is to do this whole program in one take, and I told Nick I would do my best, and I will, but there's almost guaranteed to be either distractions or something technically going wrong, so we'll see what happens. The menu includes dogs barking, a three-legged Pomeranian to be exact, 4-year-old, I don't know, using the bathroom, a wife talking about renewable energy policy. There's a lot of options, and a lot of technical things going on too. So anyway, the bright side is that because I don't have to do anything while you are watching this, I can be... I'm still having some problems, so I'm going to try just closing it and reopening it.
Hey everybody, I hope you're enjoying our live performance this evening, and all of the things that go along with being live. So yeah, if you can just bear with us for a minute or so while we get that back up, it'd be appreciated, and we're sorry for the inconvenience. Boop, boop, boop. Well, I guess I'll just vamp a little longer. So next week, I can't really give away everything that's going on next week, but we have something special planned that is in the works, and we will be announcing it early next week. Yeah. Let's see. What do I got? I already did the donate thing. I always do the donate thing. But yeah, I hope everybody is staying safe out there, and and that everyone enjoys everything. Something that I don't mention too often is that not too long after these air and they're done archiving, we upload them to YouTube. So if you miss anything that we do, or you have a friend that wanted to catch something and missed it, you can go to the Garfield Center for the Arts YouTube page, and everything will be there. So yeah.
Oh, you could hear that, couldn't you? I'm trying to share it in a different app here.
Ah, gotcha.
And it's not showing up.
Oh, it's just my face. A poem. A poem.
Oh, there we go.
I can bring up a poem real quick. Let me find it. I will be doing another Robert Service poem, just like I did for the very first GCTV performance. All right, let's see. Service, cremation. It is entitled "The Cremation of Sam McGee." Robert Service was a Canadian-British playwright who served in World War I as an ambulance driver. And then he wrote a lot of poems about the Yukon and his love of the Yukon. Some of them are dark comedies, like this one, which is The Cremation of Sam McGee. If you remember the last one, I believe it was The Ballad of Blasphemous Bill Mackay. I don't remember, but all of the names are Mick name, or start with MC, McGee, Mackay. There's another Sam McGrew, but this is The Cremation of Sam McGee. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest sight they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. When he left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the lands of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day we were mushing our way over the Dawson trail. Talk of your cold through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close, then the lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were fed and the stars o'erhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip I guess, and if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no when then he says with a sort of moan, it's the cursed cold and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains, so I want you to swear that foul or fair you'll cremate my last remains. A pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail, and we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee, and before nightfall a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night, by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows, oh God, how I loathed that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad and I felt half mad, but I swore I wouldn't give in, and I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake LaBarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it and thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. Then here, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire. Some coal I found that was laying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I didn't like to hear him sizzle so, and the heavens scowled and the huskies howl and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why, and the greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and they danced about ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. So there we go.
Woohoo!
Another poem from Robert Service.
All right. Well, I got another piece of software here, so hopefully that'll fix the problem.
All right. So without further ado, Nevin, it's all you.
I told Nick I would do my best, and I will, but there's almost guaranteed to be either distractions or something technically going wrong, so we'll see what happens. The menu includes dogs barking, a three-legged Pomeranian to be exact, 4-year-old, I don't know, using the bathroom, a wife talking about renewable energy policy. There's a lot of options, and a lot of technical things going on too. So anyway, the bright side is that because I don't have to do anything while you are watching this, I can be online with you watching and talking through the chat function and answering any questions, and hopefully we can interact that way. So I'm going to switch to my violin actually to play that version I mentioned. It's based on an arrangement by a contemporary violinist named Christian House, and he wrote this for solo violin and loop pedal. So I'm going to be using my looper a lot today. Unfortunately, I can't really show it to you because it'll mess everything up. But it's basically a big device. If you saw the promo shot, it's in that photo for tonight. And it allows me to record myself and play it back immediately and add layers to that. And it's going to give me a workout tonight. And I'll talk a little more about it later. This first tune I'm using it for is using it in a fairly simple way, so I think you'll catch on. Sorry about the mic noise here. I'm only going to have to do this twice, luckily. guess I forgot to say, so Christian Howes wrote the parts that I looped, and you may have noticed the feel or the rhythm was a little off kilter. That's because it was in 7/4, 7 beats per measure. And believe it or not, that is only one of 2 7/4 tunes I'm going to play for you tonight. It's kind of a rare thing. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was, like I said, kind of a simple version of looping where I just built up some layers one by one and then played on top. And what I played on top of that was my own improvisation. So next, I'm going to play a bluegrass tune called Blackberry Blossom. Let me turn off this echo. Okay, I've left the cathedral. So I'm going to do a lot more with the looper pedal on this one. It actually, in that first tune with the looper, I only used 1 track, and it has 3 of them. And then this next one, I'm using all 3 tracks, and one of them I have to delete and use again, so I guess 4 tracks total, all while I'm playing. Turns out that's not very easy to do. So the theme tonight will be, the notes are not always that hard, but using the looper pedal while playing the notes tends to be a little more difficult. So this is Blackberry Blossom. Hope you enjoy. So that was Blackberry Blossom. I meant to show you my notes. So I did some version of that. Those are just all the different track buttons and things I got to push. All right, so up next is what? Another pretty complicated looping situation. This is basically a cover of a mashup of two covers. I can't even remember the names of the songs, but one of them's Let Go. So you'll hear me doing a little bit of singing for that one. And the original mashup was done by one of my favorite bands, the Family Crest. And that they did that with about 10 people, some of them playing two different instruments at different times, and some of them singing and playing. So I'm trying to recreate all of that with little old me and my looper. Unlike most of the other tunes, I am using a little bit of pre-recorded drum track on this one, and the rest is all created live on the spot. So. for. It's alright, 'cause there's beauty in the breakdown. Let go, jump in. Oh well, what are you waiting for? It's alright, 'cause there's beauty in the breakdown. Let go, jump in. Oh well, what are you waiting for? It's alright, 'cause there's beauty in the breakdown. Let go, jump in. Oh well, what are you waiting for? It's alright, 'cause there's beauty in the breakdown. Let go, jump in. Oh well, what are you waiting for? It's alright, 'cause there's beauty in the breakdown. Okay, so that was challenging to put together. A lot of the time I spent developing these arrangements was just figuring out all the settings on this loop station, and it has a lot of versatility, but it's also very complicated. And the scariest part is that once something goes wrong, it tends to spiral out of control very quickly. So yeah, next I have an original, one of a few for you today. It's called Happy Sad. All right. Probably tell where the title came from. Yeah, so that's a fun one to do. Okay, next I have one that is not really a looping tune. I'm using the pedal just to play a pre-recorded backing track. I'm generally not a fan of backing tracks, but I made an exception for this one because I have kind of a personal connection to it. It's a tune called Sleepless. Don't need this anymore. And tangled. It's by a group called Rhythm Future Quartet, and I came to know them because they played at the Mainstay venue near here in Rock Hall, and I kind of studied up before they played and listened to their recordings and videos, and I kind of fell in love with this tune ahead of time, and then they played it at the show. And because it's a tiny little venue, the artist cannot escape you. And I tracked the violinist down who wrote the piece, and it turned out he had sheet music for it, and he shared it freely with me. So not only that, I played it with Joe Holt at the Mainstay a while back. And then soon after Quarantimes started, he and the band released a whole bunch of backing tracks on YouTube. So I emailed him again, and he sent me the audio you're about to hear. So it's a really cool piece. This is one where the notes are pretty hard. So enjoy. Yeah, still tangled. You can see the mess down here. It's impressive. Like a pit of vipers. Okay. I have to. It's a lot of music, so I have to get it all set up. Isn't this the beauty of live-ish shows? Just hope it doesn't all fall apart while I'm playing. Which has happened.
Two, one.
That one's fun. And nice to have a break from the looper. Okay, the next one's another original. And I'm actually going to switch just for this tune, I think, to my third instrument that I have tucked away amongst my feet. And that is my electric 5-string violin. So here it is. 5 strings means that it's got the 4 violin strings. Got the 4 violin strings, G, D, A, E, and also a low C from the viola. The violin and viola share these 3 middle strings. So it's a violin and a viola combined, which gives me an extra 5th of range. It also looks cool, but generally when I'm doing this looper stuff, it works better to use a solid body instrument like this because the acoustic ones with a mic instead of a pickup tend to get a lot of feedback once the microphone starts hearing what's coming out of the speaker, but the microphone can't hear. That's why I'm wearing headphones. So this is called Willow Bend, and that name actually came from a 3rd grader. I played this for a whole bunch of Fiddlesticks grade school programs to try to get them interested in the Fiddlesticks teaching program, and I would always ask the groups what they thought it should be called ahead of time, and then ask for their answers afterwards. And they're always silly things, but the little girl said Willow Bend, and I don't know why, that seemed really appropriate. So here it is. All right, I have, I think, yeah, just one more. And this one is also an original. I performed this 2 or 3 times, and it doesn't work as a solo piece, so it's another one where I'm resorting to using a backing track. Let me turn the echo off again. So I wrote this tune using an app because my theory knowledge is lacking, and this app kind of has a keyboard for chords, so I kind of used my hunt and peck technique to find the chords that were in my head, because I have that going for me. I can hear the music that I want to write, I just don't know how to write it. So I use this hunt and peck method, and came up with the song structure on the app, and only later developed the part that I actually play, which changes a little bit every time. There's definitely improvisation in there. So the backing track is coming directly from the app. I didn't write every single note. Some of it's kind of pre-programmed, but I wrote the chords, and this is the other one I mentioned earlier that is has the 7/4 type and signature, so 7 beats per measure. So that was real fun to figure out how to play with other people. But we managed, and hopefully you'll enjoy this piece. It's called Janet. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and I hope we can see each other soon and share music the way it was supposed to be. Thank you.
All right. So that's that. Nevin, Ari, thank you so much for being here this evening. Nevin, that was awesome, man.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who joined us. It was great chatting in the comments and seeing everyone there and sharing the evening with us. Do you have anything to say, Ari?
Bye.
Bye. That sums it up. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
I'm gonna do this. All right. So that's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure did. Especially my little impromptu poetry. So, the same way we end everything, if you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, we ask you to please consider donating to the Garfield Center at garfieldcenter.org/donate/. I don't know if that second slash is important or not, but it's there, so I tell you to put it. Like I said earlier, next week we have something special we're trying to put together, and we are going to have an announcement for that early next week. And then the week after that, we will have Phil Dutton as our next musical performer. So that's it. That's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure did. Let's see if there's anything else. If you or anyone you know is interested in performing in any of our upcoming productions, whatever they might be, ask them to please contact me, Nick Carter. My email is ncarter@garfieldcenter.org. That is in the little info box over in the corner. And I guess that's it. So, and afterwards, this will be uploaded on YouTube. So if you know somebody who wanted to see it and they missed it, tell them to go over there. It'll be there, as are all of our past performances. Yeah. So I'm going to stop rambling. Everybody, I hope you had as great of a night as I did. I'll see you next week. And now you get to watch me find the end button. Oh, no, I'm up here.